we open wide the virtual stage where ideas spark and wisdom fills the page. From the UK to the land of maple trees, John and Mike bring clarity with ease. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine your message, taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine your message, taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. Thank you for joining us, we're glad you're here. Together we grow, it's loud and clear. On Zoom we connect, we learn, we grow. Welcome my friend, enjoy the show.
Hello everyone, it's John here, Lord Zoom. I'm not a Zoom employee. I really should get those shares. But I am a Zoom community champion, a Zoom MVP, and whatever other accolades Zoom wants to send me. Oh, and we like the odd bit of Zoom swag as well here, especially when it's 35 degrees outside. It's 25 degrees in my studio. I really should have brought the air conditioner upstairs to cool this room, but I didn't. So drink water, we'll do as his name says. So welcome to this episode. We have a problem at Zoom. Okay, I got a problem at Zoom. How do I put this? I think the Zoomies are getting really fired up and maybe a little bit too frisky because too many of our Zoom colleagues are on parental leave. So maybe they're not doing long enough hours, or maybe they're just rushing everything when they get home and not preparing themselves properly. But we definitely have a baby Zoomie surplus coming over this year. So I'd like to say congratulations to all those Zoomies who are producing Zoomlets. Zoomlets, why not? Let's stick, yeah, Zoomlet, a little Zoomie, yeah, why not? And I hope that the Zoom merchandise includes baby grows as soon as possible so they can throw up all over their little Zoom bibs. That'd be fantastic. But I'm waffling a little bit here because I've got a confession to make, and I don't like making, yes, I do. I like making confessions. I am going to make a confession, and my confession is I'm conflicted, guys. I'm conflicted about this AI stuff. I'm really, really conflicted. We had a conversation with some of our friends on Friday about this very subject. And, you know, I don't mind Uncle Claude taking my money if I'm getting value from it, but I'm petrified by the number of tokens that he eats up just when I ask one simple code-related question, especially when I ask another similar code-related question, and he seems to take as many tokens to answer the second as the first, when I thought he's supposed to have a memory and context and should remember all the code that we were talking about in the previous question. I'm also concerned about the way these AIs are using everything that we ask them to train themselves to be better. Now, look, if I'm a teacher and I'm teaching a group of children and I'm giving them advice, and then I'm listening to them and the answers they give me help me be a better teacher the next day, that's fine. But there's something a little bit more suspicious about AIs that remember everything that we tell it and then use the information elsewhere. And I don't mean stealing your book and scanning it in and using that as data. I mean every single piece of content you create that they may use it elsewhere. And there's no controls on that apart from the fact that we are told it's in the terms and conditions. They can use anything we cooperate with them. So we have AIs that seem to spend their tokens with gay abandon, maybe, to take no notice of the cost to us or the inefficiencies of the system in doing it. we've got the security aspect that these AIs are not, I'm not sure they're respecting our data to any degree. But we can't get rid of them. I mean, you know, they're here for good now. So if AI first is Zoom's new mantra, then the question is, what does that mean to you and me? Well, there's nobody from Zoom here today because he's on paternity leave to defend them. So I'll tell you what I found out and what I've seen. Firstly, I've seen new data centers pop up. I noticed that Saudi Arabia now has its own data center in its own Zoom world. We've had a message that the UK has its own data center, although I'm not on it yet because we're all being migrated over time. It's not happening like overnight, but the UK has its own data center. I've seen other Zoom products now which allow you to locate all your data into one box of servers rather than it just being everywhere across the world. I think Zoom is making an attempt to secure our data in a more useful and friendly way. Because remember, Zoom isn't an AI company. They are giving money to the AI companies as well. So really it's in their interest as much as it is ours that we get the value out of our AI and we don't just give it lots of money at the other end to get our information back. We want value out of Zoom and Zoom wants value out of its AIs. And so that's where we get to Zoom Mate. And this is what I like about Zoom Mate. Zoom Mate has replaced AI Companion, but it hasn't. It's replaced it in name, but not in function. Because AI Companion to me was the AI that would give you your summary of your meetings, of your events. It would do all that analysis of your data, of your meetings, events, your phone calls. It would convert your phone calls. It helps with the transcripting and the captioning. That's what I saw AI Companion as. AI Companion was the part of my notes, which I see is over there, just doing its little dots and dashes in the corner, collecting the notes for me. Every time I go into a meeting, whether it's my meeting or somebody else's meeting, my notes is there collecting data for me, giving me summaries, giving me information. So how much does this cost us? Well, I believe, as far as I can see so far, and if you know different, please educate me. But as I see it, all those features are AI features added on to the core products. They're making part of the products. They're making the products easier. Our new friend Zoom Mate is something very different. It's an agentic product, which is this their posh word of saying it's an agent. It's a bot-based product. It's not just a product you have a conversation with. It's a product that can bot for you. In other words, it can go out and do tasks for you. And those tasks you may not even ask to do. And what I mean by that is, I don't go to the bot and say, go and do something. The bot will do something because something else happens. So there may be I suppose I should pull up my little Zoom Mate screen here. So there may be a trigger. I wanted to check the word because we know what we're like with Zoom and Zoom words. We must get Zoom words right. So it may be there's a trigger. And that trigger could be many different things. And we'll go into the detail in a little while. And Mike's looking worried because I haven't shared a screen yet. But don't worry, I will share a screen in a while. Something will happen. And I want to keep this vague for now because I want you to think about different things that can happen in your world. And that would then set off a train of actions, which they call a workflow. So the trigger starts it and the workflow works through something. And that may be, I'm trying to think of an easy one. Okay, yeah. Supposing you've just run an event and the event finishes. Now, maybe you want something of that to go into your CRM. So you want your Salesforce or your HubSpot to be updated with something about that webinar. Now, I don't want to be rude about those products because I don't know more detail. I'm sure they've got their own AI services as well. But in a normal course of events, the only things you report from your webinar to your CRM will be facts, like Mike turned up to the webinar and Mike stayed there for 58 minutes. And those are the facts of Mike's life in the webinar. I'm picking on Mike because, of course, he's my co-host. I'm going to pull him on stage in a minute so he can wave to everybody. But those are facts. What's neat about the Zoom Mate and the agentic way is that that workspace, whether it's a meeting or an event, could be asked something that's AI about the meeting. So not something as simple as, did somebody turn up? But it could be, did Mike ask any interesting questions in chat? Now, I'm not sure at what levels Zoom can do this yet because it's only just started with this new product. So I'm sure that I'm going to come up with ideas that you probably can't even do today. But I want to get the principle into your heads. I want to get you to start thinking about this. Supposing we got the AI to pick up the information and then put into the CRM, did Mike ask some interesting questions? Did Mike seem interested in the product from the questions he asked? That is a completely different type of workflow to, did Mike turn up to the meeting? And that's where I think this agentic AI could be really useful. Now it's going to work and it's designed for the corporate end. But I think there will be quite a few marketers, maybe less than the big corporates, maybe a smaller corporate, maybe somebody even running on a business plan or even a pro plan. If they're running webinars or they're running regular meetings about people and they don't have the ability to remember what all 300 people who turned up to the event thought, these sort of things could be useful. They could give you a business process. And yes, I know everybody and his wife, every single app has these tools, but the fact is, Zoom's got them. So Zoom can promote and produce information about your events, your meetings, your phone calls, all the things that happens in Zoom, and then deliver that information into other tools which can then use it in the future. Does that sound interesting to you? Because if it doesn't, here's the good news. You can turn off Zoom Mate by not subscribing to it, and it won't work. And you can carry on using all the rest of Zoom like you have. There's a clear distinction on everything I've looked at so far between all the inbuilt AI functions that just make our bits of Zoom that we have already work and the AI bits of Zoom Mate. I'll give you an example of a really good example, I believe, of a difference. We've just had Zoom Sheets launched, which is this spreadsheet, the PowerPoint, the slideshow option for Zoom. So you can create slideshows in Zoom. You don't have to have a third-party product. It's all part of the Zoom suite. And you can go to that, and we'll have a look at that in a second. You can start those up, and you can create a spreadsheet. But if you've got Zoom Mate enabled with the AI, you can tell Zoom Mate what you want, and it will create the slideshow for you. If you don't want to go to that level of detail and that level of processing, you just don't subscribe to Zoom Mate, and it's not available to you. And that's how it works. It's that easy. So I will share my screen before I pour Mike onto the screen, because otherwise he'll be completely lost. Very confusing when you realize you've got 3 desktops and you thought you only had 2. And they're not even in the order I expect them to be either. So there we are. So shall we, we don't need video sharing. We don't need sound, and we certainly don't want anything else. So there's the share. So Mike, would you like to bring the share on for us and join us on stage? Well, there's me, and there's the Zoom. So I'm not sure if I can make this bigger. Can I make this bigger? I'm sure I can make this bigger somewhere.
You called, your lordship?
I did indeed.
How are everybody? What are you about to show everybody, Johnny?
Well, this is the oh, it's their funny thingy in plus apparently. There is that. Okay, so this is Zoom Workflow Home. So now I know you, Mike, have been checking on some various URLs and things. I think you said ai.zoom.us still works. It used to be Companion and it's now shows ZoomMate.
It does show, it says ZoomMate. Well, what would you like me to do? Very, very friendly-ish. If you're used to the infamous Google AI, it looked very similar. It looked very similar to OpenAI.
Okay.
So ChatGPT.
So this is zoommate.zoom.us. Is this the same or is this different?
Different. Absolutely different. If you actually pull up the another browser, John, you can show everybody as well.
Okay.
So ai.zoom.us. You see, la.
I respectfully suggest they look almost the same to me.
Oh, do they?
Yeah, might be because I've zoomed one in.
Because
I
I do
have,
know
yeah.
that used to be the ai.zoom.us used to be labeled at the top. It did not say ZoomMate. It actually said it had before Zoom AI Companion is ready to help.
Yeah, I think they're more or less the same thing. It's just because I zoom one in, it looks slightly different.
Okay.
But yeah. So what I like about this is it's thinking in a different way, or it seems to be thinking in a different way, because you see it's got tasks and it's got something called workflows here. So if you run the demo, you can see now, if you have this turned on, and there has been some discussion about the champions about which versions are turned on, but if you have a business or pro account, you probably have this turned on by default because Zoom want you to use it. And they give you 500 tokens. We don't know how long 500 tokens are going to last you, but we respectfully suggest they won't last you long at all.
Yeah, I can confirm on our pro licenses as well as our business licenses, 500 is the number.
Okay. You're getting them for free. So it's a chance for you to test. But these demos, I'm not sure. Well, we'll find out if the demos cost us anything. But these are, as I said, these are not queries. These are not ZoomMate, tell me how many people turned out to the last webinar. Although you could put that in. These are very wasteful use of tokens to me, but you could put that in if you wanted to. But you can do flows. So you can create a workflow and you can create one on a I'm not going to run it because it will cost me tokens for showing you nothing. But you can do a workflow, which is a set of actions that are done. But those actions can be scheduled or they can be done after something else happens. So they can become a chain of events that go and collect the data. So it says here, so this is a good one. I suppose it's a good example. It's not for me because I don't use Gmail. But after every meeting, automatically generate a recap summary and send it to attendees via Gmail. So that's not just a question, that's a whole process. So rather than having to create all this software to do all these extra things, which Zoom would have to do to make all these things work, we can now cheat because now we can use our Zoom Mate, to do these things for us. And Zoom don't have to create 100, 200, 300 different things that we might select. It just gives us a prompt and we can make use of that prompt depending on things we want to do. So we can start with a node because they're stealing words from other systems here. So you can see you can have a trigger. Fill out a form. That's the one that catches me out, Mike, because I didn't know we had Zoom forms yet. Do we have Zoom forms?
Oh, ooh la la.
Yeah. So fill out
Good
a
one.
form. Don't know where that was coming from. A meeting event. Could
Sure.
be a team chat event. Could be a webhook. In other words, some other piece of software could kick this off by sending a hook to Zoom.
Mm-hmm.
Could be when a link is clicked. That's a fascinating one to me. So I'll choose that one because that sounds cool. And then you get this little thing, and then you say, okay, so what's when the link is clicked? So I'm going to have to generate a link click somewhere. But who does it? When anyone in my organization or anyone with a link. So if I send out a link and anyone with that link hits that link, I can start a chat flow. So I can start a conversation. So this is what it is. This is creating a bot flow of information. Maybe I don't like that trigger. Maybe I say, okay, I want another whip trigger, please. So I'll go back to workflows. Sorry. Go back to the demos and let's pull up one that's done already. Make it quicker. So here we are. Based on these meetings, provide a snapshot. Oh, it's off. It's doing it before I even get to try it. Okay, well, I hope that's not using my tokens. Based on these meetings, provide a snapshot overview and a good looking website that goes over the what? That's fantastic. I haven't even read it yet and it's done it. So yeah. What just happened, Mike? Mike, what just happened?
I don't know. It's your screen, not mine. I think it made a website. I think it did what it told you it was going to do. How about that?
Yeah.
Officially.
Based on these meetings.
How well? We don't know yet, but something's there.
So I'm trying to read into this that we had a meeting, apparently, in the demo world. We had a demo meeting
Called
about the
Project
migration to a new payment processor. And we just asked it to do a summary web page based on that meeting that we supposedly had. I don't remember that meeting. I must have had too much water. So here on the left, I was trying to think. They don't mirror shares, do they? On the left, we've got the work process. In other words, what we discussed apparently in this fictitious meeting that was in the example that we didn't turn up to. And here's all the information about it. And then on the right, it's produced a website page of all the information of what we want, of what we did.
Yeah, and I think that's the actual HTML code sitting there ready for you to download there, sir.
Yes, because if I hit the code button, you can actually see the code itself. Look at this. And for those that don't know,
it is.
That is HTML code. And I've got, as you say, I've got the download button.
Yep.
I got one. Can I try another one? How about this one? This could be one for you, Mike. A weekly sales recap. So when you have your weekly sales meeting, you can get it to do a summary. I didn't read the prompt quick enough to see what the summary is going to be. Create an audio file and transcript so I can listen and read it in a podcast. What?
Between two people, heaven forbid.
Wow. This is quite cool.
Here it comes.
And there it is.
And it made audio too, John. It's an MP3.
Yeah. Now I'm wishing I had share sound
enabled audio
options.
Well, pause it for a second. And
no, it's all right. I know how to do this. I'm clever.
I know.
Just tick that box there and hit save. I can now play it to you.
Are you hearing it? Because we are not.
No, I'm not hearing it.
Okay.
So that didn't work.
So it actually didn't make the audio?
I don't know. No, I think it's made the audio. It's probably my Mac is not set up. We'll let it off for that one. I wanted to try because there's another one I want to try, you see, which I think is really cool. Plan a 3-day trip to Tokyo Use web sources to identify major
Japan.
attractions, recommended attractions, restaurants, transportation options, produce a PDF itinerary. And here it is. A
By the way, John,
six-page.
you took too long to read it because I did it before you finished reading.
I know. Let me. So here is a PDF all about the places I'm going to go. I don't know Tokyo well enough to be able to tell you if this is correct, but I don't care. So you're a big corporate and you're fed up spending your money on all these AI products. Looks like Zoom is going to suggest that you won't need the others, because with this, you can do all that stuff in one place. And what's more, of course, it's integrated into everything else in Zoom, because as I said, you can have workflows. So these are just example questions that can produce stuff, but these things can be done automatically. Obviously a trip to Tokyo, I don't see how that's going to be done automatically, but you could have a sales meeting and you could create a report based on the contents of a sales meeting automatically after every meeting using this tool. Create a PowerPoint presentation for sales representatives that introduces Horizon Voice. And at this point, you're going to get to see what all would expect. Did you see that at the top there? It just told me I ran out of money. I just got a bump to say I've got no more money and to contact my administrator. A bit like when you go to one of those casinos and you've played blackjack twice and your $100 is gone. Not that I know, of course. I've not played blackjack in a casino ever. Oh, yes, I have, but it was a fantasy casino, so we didn't get any real money. However, I still think that the slides that's just produced look really cool. And I can't tell you if they're correct based on the data they had, but I'm sure they are.
And they made that for you in what kind of format, John? Is that a PPT? Is that a markdown file? Because I saw a reference to markdown.
I'm not sure. I'll save it and see what it ends up as.
Oh, PPTX.
PPTX. Because I know that Zoom can read PPTX. So Zoom slides can read PPTX files. So if you've got a PPTX file, it can be read into Zoom and then you can use it in Zoom slides. So this is the difference between Zoom Companion and normal Zoom. It is just a really, really powerful little Zoom AI sitting inside Zoom, which you don't have to have if you don't want it. Let's be clear. I want to be clear about that, because this is not a situation where an AI is suddenly going to pop up and say, you've spent all your tokens, you can't do anything else to the end of the month, or you send me some more money. This is Zoom's system, which will ask you for more money if you spend all the tokens. Yes. But it's built into Zoom and you don't have to use it if you don't want it. And if you don't want it, it doesn't stop the rest of Zoom from working. It's a completely different part of Zoom. Zoom Sheets works without Zoom Mate. If you have Zoom Mate with it, you can do more things. You can create the sort of content that we've just created in our system. But you don't need that to use Zoom Sheets. So it's not blocking you from products, but it gives you another area of things that you might want to do. And to be able to do summaries on meetings, events, and webinars, and take that data and automatically turn it into reports, that to me is a good example of something which I would see value in. Because rather than me then having to go and have a look at the summary to create a spreadsheet, which if it's internal, you'll be lucky if they spend more than 15 seconds scanning it, because you know how much content we create in the corporate world that nobody ever really looks at. It's just down there as your documented proof that you went to the meeting and you took notes. And then it just gets passed up to the next level, and they just quote a page off it, and then it goes up to the next level. You know what the corporate world is like. So in those cases, do you really want an employee to spend 4 hours creating a PowerPoint slides for all the bits and bobs when you can get an AI to do it in less time than it took me to read the prompt? I'm sure they're not as quick as that in real life. I think they might be a bit slower sometimes. These are examples, and I would be suspiciously of the view that they might already be pre-processed, and this is just an imitation. Not that I'm, casting aspersions upon Zoom, because if I had examples, I'd do that as well. Because you don't want Zoom to be buying all those tokens from whoever they're using for their back end at the moment just to do a demo. I'm sure the demos are pre-populated to make things work, but they are neat. So here's another one, creating a Nova Center data store war room. And it's going to create a video.
Create that HTML.
An HTML page, root cake analysis, where you could have done better. A video up to 1 minute going to very high level, the different phases with a voice explaining what happened. I think I would probably be watching a video on YouTube where some AI expert, and I'm sorry if all you do is just tell us what a prompt is, you're not much of an expert to me, but some AI expert gives me a list of like 5 AI products which it uses. This product for doing this, and this product for doing video, and this product for doing audio, and this product for doing videos. No, I said videos, so doing PowerPoint slides, and this one for doing analysis, and this one for code. And then next week they do another video where they've completely changed their list of apps that they use. I don't want to spend the rest of my life having to watch that person every week to find out which AI tool I'm supposed to use today for stuff, and then have to watch them next week to find out which tool I have to use next week. Quite frankly, if I'm going to use AI for those sort of things, I would be happier giving the problem to Zoom Mate and let Zoom do the negotiations, the evaluations, and the connections to whichever AI tool they think is the most efficient for them, because it's in their interest to make this work well. They're not in the business of just spending all the tokens like water. They want this to work well. And that's why they're integrating it into their Zoomiverse. That was the word we've made up, wasn't it? Their Zoomiverse of your data to take this information and make it useful. But of course, this is only just taking some stuff and turning it into other stuff. I told you there was a workflow. So this workflow could be set off by a certain meeting. And this data could then end up in a report somewhere. It could be sent to somebody, as you saw. There was an example where you send the response by email, by Gmail. So this content could be created and then sent on to somebody else. It could be somebody else in your organization. It could be a customer visit or a customer meeting. And then the content of it is then turned into a report. And that report is then put into the CRM. So the next time you have a meeting with that customer, that's there. You could use and we already have done it before on just normal Zoom. So you could quite easily have a question to create a set of to-do lists. So you have a meeting with a client and you have the AI do a summary of that meeting, highlighting what both sides were going to do before the next meeting, what objectives and things they were going to work on, and then send that into your Zoom workflow. I'm trying to think of the right word then. And then from your workflow, that could then end up into your CRM, or could be sent to the team leader, or could be sent to the account manager. Maybe it's a technical meeting, needs to go to the account manager. These are pretty amazing things. And the important thing is here, you haven't got so much of that argument about context, because the AI is in your world, it's in your meetings, it's in your events. So you haven't got to go and do an event on some platform and then download some data and then import that data into the AI and then get the AI to do something, because it's all here in Zoom together. So once you've had an event or a meeting, Zoom already knows about that data. Your Zoom mate already knows that exists. You can just create that stuff and pull it through. And Zoom mate is definitely going to be a mate of mine. But I wonder, would it be a mate of Mike's? Would it be a mate of those watching on YouTube? What do you think, Mike?
What do I think? Well, it's interesting. The situation when it comes to credits and such is different, and but it's, you know, that needs to be figured out. Would be my official answer to that, is that it needs to be figured out what is going to happen next. And I know that there is blocks already being set up by Zoom that you can purchase, but that would be my next concern, is that, okay, now you've teased everybody with the 500. Now what?
Yeah, I think you want to step back a bit, work out what would be something that the AI could do that is useful, and then you can justify it. I think we've all been rushing to use AI. Yeah. On Saturday, I asked Uncle Claude to change a button from blue to red. That was a stupid waste of money and a stupid waste of time, because I could have gone in and done it myself in about 15 seconds, and it took it 2 minutes and cost me 2,000, 3,000 credits. It was a stupid use of AI.
That's right.
But I was
And
so
there
afraid.
is a lot of, there is a lot of that happening right now.
Yeah. I was afraid that if I didn't tell it that, then it wouldn't understand that. So I am now, I've been using AI as my coding assistant to help me correct what I do, help me document as I go. And I am now changing the way I code so that AI can help me, but I'm also changing the way I code so AI just doesn't do it all for me, because I know of people, well, Mike and I know of people, because we've had conversations with people who are spending hundreds of dollars writing apps, and they haven't got a clue what happens under the hood. All they said is, AI, make me a car that allows me to get to work in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And it's as vague as that. You don't know whether you got a Ferrari or a milk float. You don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know it gets you there, but you've got no idea how well it gets you there, what its fuel consumption is. You don't even know if it takes the right route, and whether it doesn't,
or if it's doing it efficiently, if it's doing it efficiently or not.
Yeah,
it could actually
it could
a whole bunch of code that should be nothing. Yeah, that's right.
I thought the scenic route would be a good idea for you. I thought it was better for your well-being, but people are prompting badly. The AI makes up the rest.
Yeah. And I'm starting to see more often, John, assuming the rest too. Never mind just making the rest. Yeah. So there's making up, which John and I are talking about, is that, okay, I've taken this little bit of information and what would logically make sense to associate with that. That's that. But then there's the assumption of, this is actually what John meant to say after me listening to him say 5 or 6 things. This is what I think he wants me to do for him.
The only thing I've got AI to do reliably is the cartoons for these webinars. It's the only thing it seems to keep in the context that I want.
But even then, it was a process.
Oh yeah. It does something and then I have to edit it or today I went into Canva and I had to remove somebody from an image so that I could get the right people in the right image. So I had to do that in Canva, and then I had to cut and paste all the elements back together because I couldn't get Zoom to take the right person out of the room. Anyway, yeah,
but you're using ChatGPT, right? Not Zoom.
I'm using ChatGPT. Yeah.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, I dare not do anything else with ChatGPT apart from my Zoom cartoon images because I don't want it to forget what it's doing, because it would just like be a nightmare to go back and have to build something else to just do those images.
And the question of the day, John, are you able to replicate 100%
Never.
from ChatGPT? Oh, John already knew what I was going to say. Okay, there you go.
Never.
That was very AI of John, by the way, everybody.
I have to talk very AI to it. But yes, it assumes the background. I'm not always exact about everything I want in the background. I tend to mention what I want in the background. I will tell it what I don't want. I will give it guardrails, what I don't want in the, maybe this time I said to it for the one today, I said, I don't want any text and I don't want any people. I want an empty scene. And then I overlaid the characters onto the scene. And then it just gave me something.
But again, those image credits or tokens or insert word here that doesn't seem to be industry standard yet, which we don't know. And this is, John, did you actually start mentioning this, that we don't know how many, if I'm making a PowerPoint, is that X amount of tokens on ZoomMate?
Don't know.
We don't know.
I'm sure Zoom don't know either, because Zoom is still passing the query on to the AI company.
Yeah. And they're going to charge them X, which then equals our quote unquote, what is ZoomMate calling them, by the way, John, just for my sake? Is it credits? What do they call, what is ZoomMate using as token? Is they saying tokens? I've seen all kinds of different variations of the word. Oh, there we go.
Credits.
Oh, that's a good, there we go. Keep that up there, John. There's a good one to show everybody. So that, John, explain where you actually found that for everybody.
That was up in this top right-hand corner. You got my logo. You got my little notifications bell. Then you've got the number of tokens. I got 150 out of 500 left. And then there's a button to upgrade, which I probably will. But of course, I've got the problem that I've got 4 different Zoom accounts, and I've got to work out which Zoom account's going to do what. And then I have to put the credits on the right Zoom account.
Right. But John, did you not mention that it said you're out of those?
You will now and again see a little box that floats down from the top.
Okay.
If you can't do something. And I saw one come down and said that I couldn't do it. My admin hadn't allowed me. So there was something that I couldn't do.
So even though you had 350 tokens or whatever
150,
they're calling
150 left.
Oh, you got 150 left. Okay, that's not 150 used.
Oh.
I'm just asking.
Maybe it is 150 out of 500 used. As the bar is not 3/4 full and is more. Yeah,
right.
You're probably right. It's probably I've used 150 of 500.
Right. So it's the opposite. Yeah. See how this again.
I haven't used that many after all.
So we could, So again, this is where a bit of the confusion comes into play. That 150/500 is that I've got 150 left of the 500 that you gave me, or is that 150 that I've used of the 500?
Okay, so now I don't know, because you've now confused me both ways. So I think I've got 150 left out of 500 now. You got me excited then. I thought I don't know.
But I'm just trying to figure out why that pop-up came down for you. That
it was an admin pop-up. So it probably means that there was, I might have some settings turned off that don't allow that particular AI thing that it was trying to work.
Okay.
I didn't. By the way, Zoom, can you slow those pop-ups? Can they pop less and hang around more? Because quite often I don't get a chance to read. Maybe I've gone slow and all this heat bubble we're in the Europe, but I don't really get a chance to realize they're there and read the contents before they disappear again. There is underneath it a usage history as well. So can you see that you see that blue box that's open underneath?
Yep. Go ahead, John. I'm free.
So that blue box that's open
for
underneath, that's supposed to tell you about your usage history, but I've got no usage history. So I don't know how I spent credits that I haven't got a usage of. So I'm even more confused now.
Right.
So I've got some templates.
All right.
Yeah. Meeting summary templates, which is we've had from before. I've got some connectors. So that gives me access to, bits of Zoom. I was going to say, I've got revenue accelerator disabled. That's good because I haven't got revenue accelerator on this account. I've got meeting. I've got Canvas, which is, for those that can't remember, the document program. We've got the whiteboard disabled. Apparently, I've decided to disable my whiteboards. I'll have to change that. I've got full access to contacts. So I could use a contact within a conversation with my AI because it will understand my contacts. I've got tasks disabled as well, apparently, and I've got full access to the chat. And then you can have some skills, and these skills are like little actions. And then you can schedule tasks, so you can get tasks done on a date schedule, or you can make them work all the other ways we talked about as well. And I have 150 or 500 credits left, but I must have spent them recently or too long ago because they're not on the usage history. And you can also choose whether you want dark light or system colors. I think that, I don't know. Maybe that looks better on the system. So what am I saying? I'm saying I'm starting to like this Zoom Mate the more I play with it. I'm concerned that I make sure that I do something useful with it, that I don't just spend tokens willy-nilly like we get tempted to spend tokens everywhere else. But this, of course, is the way the world works nowadays, isn't it? Let's face it, this is the way the world works. There is nothing in the world for free. If it's free, because they want you to get hooked on it. Everybody gives something for free. And then once you're hooked, you're married to her. Oh, that's why I'm trying to stay single. I don't want to get hooked that way. Friend of yours buys you a drink in a pub. That's free. Problem is now you're stuck with them and you've got to buy them a drink later. There's nothing free in this world, dear people. That's right. AI is very much like that as well. Give you some free tokens, get you excited about it like I am, and then tell you, John, you run out of tokens. You want to do something more clever, you're going to have to buy something. And that's what it is.
Yeah. We've been teased with 500 tokens. I got to get used to that. They are using tokens? Okay, they're using tokens. Good. All right. That one's becoming more popular. I'm again, all the different ones that I'm testing with, I've got all kinds of different variations of. I've seen kudos, I've seen tokens, I've seen.
Well, they're credits as far as Zoom's concerned.
Right.
Oh, they're credits. Tokens, but they in the Zoom dictionary, they are Zoom credits.
Zoom credits. In the infamous dictionary. And I'll let John have a quick swig and say hi, everybody. And then we'll go back to new version of Production Studio that I'm playing with here too.
So that is the fantastic product, which, as I said, I think, have a look at the workflows, have a look at the examples. I don't think it cost me credits to do these things. Look, I've got a meeting summary here to Outlook. So it sends an Outlook mail with a meeting summary. We got something close to that already. So I can open that and have a look at that. So I've got a meeting event is the trigger. And I've got the reasoning. So I can click on the reasoning. And you see, then you can edit it to be what you want it to be. And it's a bit like procedural programming in a way. But you've got the tasks, questions. So it just says who you are. You're a professional executive assistant helping to deliver meeting summaries to Outlook. So if meeting is empty, skip immediately. So that's quite easy. And then input is the meeting summary. Meeting participants is the participants. Pre-processing, first determine the type of meeting. If there's already a structured meeting, then go to, and it's all a set of processing commands here. This is probably written in Markdown language. It looks like Markdown language to me. And then eventually it outputs an answer. And if you need more resources or you need more tools or you need more skills, so you've got some skills here to do some various tasks. Got resources, which can be from my Zoom meetings, from my Zoom Canvas, from my Google Drive, my OneDrive, because I've got both of those plugged into this thing. I can collect content from those and make use of that. It's maximum action steps to stop it going in infinite loops, or at least it's saving us from that. And then the output. It's all, I'll tell you what it is. It's all the sort of stuff that you're probably not going to end up doing yourself. If you're in a reasonably sized organization, you'll probably end up having some programming type person going to do this for you and set these all up for you as an organization, because you don't really want to, you don't want everybody in the organization having to learn this from day one. But it is neat and I like it. And I can see lots of places where this would be really useful. And even the small businesses, I can see places where you can more or less use some of these tasks like a virtual assistant, push things through. But it's a whole new world. Here we go, Zoom. Another world of stuff you've given us to play with. But there is this little help you bot. I don't know how many tokens, must use the right word, how many credits it costs, but you can actually describe the workflow to the bot and the bot will try and build the workflow for you. So I love it. I'm not sure everybody's going to love it. I can see where Zoom is going with this. And this is very neat because it's turning a lot of things you do in Zoom to workflows rather than just actions, which is cool. But it won't be for everybody. But that's fine, because if you don't want it, as I said, and I'll keep repeating this because I think it's really important, you don't want all these functions. Don't feel that your subscription now means you're fated to use them. You don't have to use them. You turn off the AI for this. And if you look in the settings, there are so many AI related things in there now. But if you turn off Zoom Mate, or frankly, you don't give Zoom Mate any money, Zoom Mate won't work and it won't take any money from you. But if you find something that's useful, you can make use of it. You don't find something that's useful today, you don't need to make use of it. You're a corporate and you've got difficulty getting information from one place to another, Zoom Mate's going to be an absolute fantastic tool to process things. And this is only talking about Zoom meetings, Zoom events, and Zoom phone. This function and these workflows also work for Zoom Revenue Accelerator and all the Zoom call center products that we've got out there, Zoom VA and whatever. I can't Zoom Z and enter your acronym there because there's so many of the different tools out there that do these sort of things. This is fantastic. I love it. I really love it. I'm now desperate to spend some credits to try and find something useful for it. I'm sure I will. I'm sure when I work hard enough, I'll be able to do. Yeah, I think I'll be able to do clever things to impress our friend Josh, because I'm pretty sure I can do some clever things with processing information at the end of an event or a sales meeting or things like that, and then make the AI take that data and put it into my CRM or send a report to somebody or whatever. I can see some really useful things for this. But that's all there is to it. I feel like I've said nothing, and yet 56 minutes later, I'm saying, Mike, is there anything else I've left out?
From ZoomMate, no. Again, the important thing will be, John's right. If you don't want to use this, you don't have to. It's there. It's available. You've got 500 credits, and I'm going to get that into my brain. And it'll allow you to tease yourself to be able to do a few things. Then you'll go, yes, no, maybe, right? And this is where you've got to go, okay, am I doing this already somewhere else at another AI? Because this is where
Yep.
Zoom is going to be marketing to you, going, you don't have to use Claude, ChatGPT, insert here. They want you to use this if this is all you need it to do, and especially if you're really in the Zoom universe or the Zoomiverse, that will allow you to actually then be able to get what you need done. If this is all you need it to do, then chances are maybe ZoomMate is for you. And this is where you should then be looking at getting more Zoom credits. And that's what, of course, Zoom would like you to do as well. But again, if you're already getting this done elsewhere and you're happy with that process, like John is with using ChatGPT to do our thumbnails for all our shows, then you may not want to add this into your repertoire of AI unless you are that type of person that has an AI that does this only, AI does that only, AI does this only. Then
That's a
of
good
course
point.
you then should then look at Zoom Mate as your mate in Zoom for all. Now, if you're really in the Zoom universe, then of course you need a Zoom Mate, and that's where they want you to have that so that you can be able to do things Zoom related. But again, if you're in Zoom lightly, Zoom may be too much for you, where you only need that to be done every so often, as compared to if you're in like 2 meetings a day, 3 meetings a day, and you're using Zoom for those 3 meetings, then chances are you might want to look more at Zoom Mate. It just goes down to your usage and the way your workflow is, because this definitely, as you saw, John did it live with us here. And of course, live demos are always dangerous, but we did do a live demo and it was lickety split, and it didn't even have a chance to have John even finish what he was describing to you before it actually had it up on the screen already. So take
I've
that
just
as it is.
noticed. I've just
You
noticed.
did.
Yeah. There's an import and export function.
Okay.
So that means that some new organization could create these workflows and then export them to a file and then distribute them to the employees that need to put them into their account. Well, that's neat.
Right. And put it on your Zoom Hub. Not
Well,
to
yes,
be
'cause
confused
once
with
you
Zoom
import-
Events Hub.
Or your Zoom, well, your Zoom personal hub, yeah.
Right.
Because once you import the workflow, then it's part of your hub. It's in the list of all the hub options.
Right. But then you can share that from your hub to somebody
You can
else's hub.
export it. No, you can export it as a file. So rather than sending it to people or whatever, they've just made the option to you can import and export to a file.
Okay.
So you can export to a file, email it to somebody else, or chat it, send it in the chat, and then they can import it. And of course, that means that they could be in your org or outside your org because it's just a exported file.
Right. But again, you see where I was going with that too, is that would
Oh, yeah.
also that mean more, if it was put into your personal hub and then you share that with people in your org, because everybody has their own hubs too, and everybody's paying Zoom for Zoom hub space, then that could easily be stuff. Oh, and I know nobody's seeing this right now, but John is actually looking at the code. So I'll show everybody what John's looking at.
For those that understand it, it's a JSON file. For those that don't understand it, it's just a file of fields and commands. Maybe there'll be an underground of people now who will build Zoom workflows just to make available to other people. There you are. So now you can become a Zoom workflow expert and put that on your CV.
Yes. And that almost gives us a good segue to what's happening in the Zoom universe tomorrow, John.
Well, please do not miss the Zoom Developers Conference tomorrow.
Zoom Developer Summit. 2026.
We have reached the top, indeed. And there's some really interesting stuff happening in the developer space. We can't talk about all of it. And we can't talk about what happens tomorrow, but I promise you what happens tomorrow is going to be really interesting. And I can also leak to you that I've got some clever things on the way, and we will have released them by Zoomtopia. That's the plan. Because as soon as the Zoom Developers Summit finishes, everybody will start panicking about what they're going to do in Zoomtopia in the Zoom event. We know that.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they go on
That'll be
holiday,
the
so they
next
can
big
sit
one.
on the beach and plan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please, not too many of you go on the beach and start making babies. There should be a restriction, the number of babies that we can have in Zoom at one time.
Yeah, that's fair. That's absolutely fair.
And we're going to talk about something similar to this next week, because we have the return of Elliot. Elliot's coming back next week, and he wants to talk about directing calls and routing calls and things, which sounds really boring, but once you've got a few employees, it's a pretty useful thing to be able to do to make sure that calls get around your organization to the right people in the right way at the right time of day and the right way and the right it's just really good to have a good call management system and not some team of telephonists who just sit there waiting for the calls and trying to make sense of it all. You can do a lot automated with Zoom Phone, and it just makes life so much easier, so much more powerful. And Elliot's going to be showing that to us next week. So I'm looking forward to that, because then I can forward calls to departments I don't even have yet. It's really cool. Make my little business sound even bigger than it is. But that is all. That is all. That is an amazing product. There will be lots more about ZoomMate. I will have proper examples for you that I've made from scratch. We are talking, there is a conversation. I think I can say this. Yeah, of course I can. We've already said to the Zoom community, we need this turned on, because it's not even turned on my Zoom community account. So I can't make any demonstrations at all. As you can see, 500 tokens doesn't, actually 500 tokens does last a long way, because I've been playing around with this. But I've asked Zoom, and they're trying to work out how they're going to do this, but I'm sure they'll find a way. So I'm hopeful, very hopeful, that I will get that put on my demo account so I can use demo data, because I can't do live examples for you on my own account, because I'll be giving up privacy of all the meetings I've had with all the people I've had, and that's just not fair to them or to you. But we will get that sorted, and then we'll do some examples. Doesn't stop you going on to the Zoom community forums, which already has over 500,000 members. And I see, since I challenged it to get to 500,000, it's got about 1,500 over that already. So that's amazing. Join that. I've seen in the Zoom community, some of the product managers have been posting little examples of ZoomMate and way to use ZoomMate, which you might want to have a look at. I'll gradually be collecting a list of those and put them on the bottom of this this video, I think, as we go. But for me, that is all I have to say. I don't know how ZoomMate turns my AC on, so that's a feature I need to get them to add as we sit here in our little heat bubble in Europe. I hope everybody else is fit and well, and I hope everybody in Europe is keeping cool.
John's going to have to convert some of those Zoom credits over to some Zoom AC credits of some sort with the hydro company.
I am. So thank you. Thank you, Zoom, for ZoomMate. I'm going to definitely make use of this tool. Thank you to you for watching and listening. See us again next week, where Elliot's going to show us some clever things to do with Zoom Phone. I'm looking forward to that as well. He's given me a new phone number in the States.
Ooh la
What do
la.
I do with that? Put me on them. So we're obviously going to have great fun next week. But for today, that is it. If you are a producer of events, you might want to join us on Friday. But otherwise, we'll see you next week. And I'll leave it to Mike because he knows how to close the show properly. Thanks, Mike. Over to you.
Thank you, John. Thanks everybody for joining us this week on Lord Zoom Live. Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel to let Zoom and YouTube know how much you love our content. And we will be here again next Tuesday, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. Check your local time zone to match up the 3 p.m. Eastern time zone. And don't forget, as John mentioned, on Friday, again, that's noon Eastern, 9 a.m. I almost did it, Pacific, to join us again for PPPH, or Production Professionals Power Hour. Take care, everyone. And if you're at the Developer Summit, say hi to John and I. We'll be there. Take care and see you next week.
Every week we open wide the virtual stage where ideas spark and wisdom fills the page. From the UK to the land of maple trees, John and Mike bring clarity with ease. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine your message, taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. We're building meetings, webinars with might, helping you shine your message, taking flight. Whether you're new or you've done this before, Lord Zoom Live will help you do much more. Thank you for joining us, we're glad you're here. Together we grow, it's loud and clear. On Zoom we connect, we learn, we grow. Welcome my friend, enjoy the show. From big events to breakout rooms with flair, we've got the tools and we're ready to share. Guest experts drop in, bringing gold each time, with insights and tricks to help you climb. Can't make it live, we've got you still. On YouTube and LinkedIn, we're giving that thrill. So tune in later or catch us next round. Either way, your success is where we're bound. Thank you for joining us, we're glad you're here. Together we grow, it's loud and clear. On Zoom we connect, we learn, we glow. Welcome my friend, enjoy the show. And make it live, we've got you still. On YouTube and LinkedIn, we're giving that thrill. So tune in later or catch us next round. Either way, your success is where we're bound. Now take the spotlight, the stage is yours. Bring your message through virtual doors. Each week we gather, and now you know you're not alone, so let it flow. Thank you for joining us, now go and shine. Share what you've learned, your voice, your time. With Lord Zoom Live, your power will grow. It's time to build your own show.